Welcome back to another episode of the Japan Experts Podcast. I'm your host, Miyuki Seguchi. I hope you are having the most wonderful week. Tokyo, the capital of Japan. Are you looking forward to visiting? Or are you not so willing to visit for whatever reason you may have? Either way, I'm glad you're here because today you're about to hear my honest thoughts on Tokyo and how to approach your travel planning. Just to give you some background, I lived in Tokyo for over 10 years. After spending a few years living in a different part of Japan and exploring the country, especially lesser known areas and off the beaten track locations, I went back for a visit. That time away gave me the opportunity to see the city with fresh eyes. Some things have definitely changed, while others have stayed the same. It was really interesting to notice these differences, and I gained some valuable takeaways from this trip. So today, on this Japan Experts Podcast episode, I want to take you behind the scenes of how I planned my own trip to Tokyo. I'll share key insights from my planning and travel experience, including what worked and what didn't. My hope is to help you plan your trip more thoughtfully by sharing my experiences and key takeaways. Even though this episode focuses on Tokyo, what I'm about to discuss can also be applied to your Japan travel planning in general. So if you are just getting started or still trying to create an itinerary that truly excites you, this episode is for you. You are listening to Japan Experts, the podcast that helps you plan, book, and enjoy an effortless and immersive journey to Japan. Excited to visit Japan but overwhelmed by endless options, confusing transport, or language barriers? I get it. I'm Miyuki Seguchi, licensed guide and your cultural bridge to Japan. I've helped countless travelers turn their Japan dreams into seamless and unforgettable adventures, and I'll help you do the same. In every episode, you'll discover local tips, expert knowledge, and first-hand insights to plan with ease, travel confidently, and create lifelong memories in Japan. Ready to do this, Cassie? Let's dive in. Let's start by sharing some of my personal experiences and observations from planning my own trip to Tokyo. To be honest, this trip was a bit of the last-minute decision. I had initially planned to visit somewhere else, but that plan got cancelled, so my entire travel planning was done at the very last minute, and honestly, I don't recommend that. Here's what surprised me the most. Hotel prices in Tokyo have become extremely expensive. They were often twice, sometimes even 3 times higher than a few years ago or compared to what's normal in other places. And what's surprising is that this wasn't even during a peak travel season. It was actually the off-season. Still, accommodation costs skyrocketed. I think this may have been partly due to the last-minute booking, and it took me a while to find the accommodation I was happy with. I also noticed higher prices for admission and entrance fees. Museums, observation decks, and other tourist attractions, prices at these places were definitely higher than what you'd typically pay for similar experiences in other cities. There were certainly experiences worth the investment, but unfortunately, there were also things I felt were overpriced for the experience I got. Another thing I noticed while traveling around Tokyo was that there are so many experiences you can enjoy without spending money, like walking around the river, watching a free nighttime show open to the public, or simply strolling through local neighborhoods. The city lights and views are truly beautiful and picturesque. I also found that most places weren't as busy as I expected, even at some of the most popular tourist spots in Tokyo. My guide friends living in Tokyo told me that the level of crowds is much higher during peak seasons, so I felt I made the right decision to visit Tokyo during the off-season. And one final thought that I feel hasn't changed about Tokyo is how people look on trains, buses, and during their daily commutes. This may sound bad to say, but I want to be honest about how I felt. People seemed tired, miserable, or even unhappy. This was something a few of my clients mentioned after visiting both Tokyo and rural areas. It's a feeling I've always had whenever I returned to Tokyo from an overseas trip or more relaxed destination. When I got off the bread train and transferred to the JR local line, looking at people's faces, that feeling hit me again. Once you fit it in, it's okay and you'll get used to it. It doesn't mean people are mean. It's just that they have their own lives to live. And this is part of the Tokyo experience, whether you like it or not. But after visiting so many other places in Japan, I can tell you that this isn't true for the whole country. People tend to look happier and interact with you differently in rural or less visited areas. So I just want to assure you of that. Now, based on the observations and the experiences I had, I'd like to share with you the 3 things I want you to keep in mind when planning your trip to Japan. Firstly, despite the not so great things I shared about Tokyo, I realized that Tokyo is still one of my favorite places to visit. Okay, I admit, I have many favorite places in Japan, but Tokyo is on a different level. It sets itself apart from anywhere else in the country. So, I encourage you to visit Tokyo and focus on the unique experiences it offers. That's how you'll make the most of your time in Japan's capital. Let me give you an example. I used to think visiting shrines and temples was something you could do anywhere. And yes, that's true. But on this trip, I visited Sensoji and the Asakusa area. If I had to pick just one temple to visit in Japan, I might not have chosen this one, but I was impressed by its evolution. The entire area draws people in a different way than any other temple I visited, especially with the market, shops, and restaurants nearby. It felt like more than just a temple and almost like an entertainment hub. So, if that's what you're looking for, this could be a unique experience for you. The key takeaway here is to be clear about the type of experience you want. Choose what best fits your interest and set appropriate expectation. It's all about personalizing your travel experience. Secondly, I encourage you to be thoughtful about your travel planning. There are several approaches you can take. For example, booking early is the most obvious one. Another strategy is to create a feasible itinerary that allows you to travel efficiently while also giving you the flexibility to adapt to changes. I planned my days around a few districts that were easily accessible from one another, keeping the best travel routes in mind. This saved me a lot of time and energy. And of course, I made sure to allow enough time between activities, which was again the best decision. Additionally, an increasingly important strategy is to adjust your timing, locations, and experiences. I managed to visit the places and gain the experiences I wanted without worrying too much about the crowds, as I picked a quieter time to visit. I was able to find good accommodation in the end because I expanded my search area and looked into different types of accommodation. Again, I was able to do this because I was already familiar with Tokyo's geography and options. I don't recommend leaving it all to the last minute. Instead, I encourage you to familiarize yourself with the different options available for the places you are visiting ahead of time. Lastly, I would really encourage you to explore beyond Tokyo, especially the less visited and the lesser known areas. You'll have a completely different experience. The people, food, scenery. It's something you'll truly feel when you experience it for yourself. By comparing Tokyo to the other places you visit, you'll appreciate your time and experiences in both even more. Plus, it'll save you money on accommodation and other expenses you need on your trip. So, here is a quick recap for you. The best way to approach your Japan travel planning is to focus on the unique experiences Tokyo has to offer. Manage your expectations and embrace what makes the city special. Be thoughtful about your planning by booking early, creating a flexible and efficient itinerary, and exploring different options for timing, locations, and experiences. And finally, don't forget to step beyond Tokyo to explore less visited areas, as they'll provide a completely different, enriching experience and help you appreciate Tokyo even more. If you'd like to apply these takeaways to your own trip planning and are looking for personalized support, I'd be happy to share my first-hand local insight to guide you through the key planning decisions. You are always welcome to reach out to me on Instagram at japan.experts or join my free Facebook group, Japan Experts Community for Travelers. I'm happy to suggest the best next steps based on where you are in your trip planning. And if you haven't downloaded my free Japan travel guide yet, that's a great place to start. You'll find the link in the show note. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to share more Japan travel insights with you in the next episode. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week. Let's craft your dream Japan trip together. Head over to Instagram at japan.experts and DM me Japan. I'll personally share expert insights and recommendations to help you plan with ease and feel confident about your trip, so you can make unforgettable lifelong memories in Japan. Not on Instagram? No worries. Join the Japan Experts community on Facebook, where I share exclusive travel tips and answer your questions, or grab one of my free Japan travel guides. All the links are in the show note. I can't wait to connect with you soon.